In the last week, I went to my 13th death or cardiac arrest and subsequent death post the vaccine.
What I'm seeing on the front line is that, these vaccines are not as safe as we're led to believe, and they seem to be doing more harm than good.
4 people in wheelchairs present back to the clinics after receiving Pfizer, and they were all under 40. They weren't able to walk. They had numbness, and they couldn't feel legs and arms.
So there was a young person who had his jab 3 days prior, so he had it on the Wednesday, he was last seen well on Saturday night. Sunday morning he was found unconscious on the floor in his own vomit, and he was diagnosed as being in septic shock and having a massive cardiac infarct, and he went to ICU, and I don't think he recovered.
To be honest, I just wish that we were allowed to speak about this. It is so frustrating to be in a position where we are seeing this stuff and we are seeing what these vaccines are doing, and we're not allowed to speak about it. We're under the threat of losing our registration. We've been told that we're not allowed to talk about these things, and I can't even begin to put into words how frustrating it feels to be silenced.
Everyone's living in fear of being reprimanded and losing their job.
I've seen many people have varied reactions to this vaccine. I've seen people die from it, both in my professional capacity and also in my personal life.
I've never witnessed anything like this, where there's such a massive rise in strokes, bleed outs, neurological disorders.
Normally vaccines don't have severe reactions like this, and normally you would make a bigger deal out of it and you wouldn't just brush it under the carpet, which is what seems to be happening with this one.
So the thing that bothers me the most is that we're lying to the patients and we're telling them that this is going to keep them safe, and this is going to keep them out of hospital, and this is going to prolong their life. And everyone has taken the vaccine under false pretenses. No one has been told that there are horrific side effects.
In my opinion, there's been an increase in admissions to the stroke and neurological wards post this COVID-19 vaccine rollout.
I've noticed a big spike in strokes. I've also noticed there's been a lot of neurological conditions going on.
We were called to an approximately 20-year-old female post-seizure, never had a seizure before in her life. Again, healthy, well, normal 20-odd-year-old, presented with seizures post her first COVID shot. That was 2 days after her COVID shot. She presented with seizures on the back of no history of the same.
A young girl came up in a wheelchair and she said that there was something wrong and she didn't look good. And one of the nurses just said that, she's just having a panic attack, and sent her down to emergency.
So the main presentations in people that have been vaccinated has been a large increase in stroke, a large increase in pleural effusions, which is where the lung fills up with fluid and you can't breathe, and then the confusion in the elderly without any underlying dementia, and heart attacks in people with no family history, no medical history.
Well, I personally have seen an increased number of cardiac cases in the almost 20 years I've been a paramedic. I've never before attended 6 back-to-back cardiac cases in one shift. In all of these patients, all 6 had been vaccinated.
In my personal life, in my friend group, I have a lot of people who've been required to get vaccinated for their work. And 3 of those, of various different ages, one's in the 20s, one's in the 30s, one's in the 40s, again, fit, well, healthy males, all of whom are now in cardiac failure post the vaccine. And the cardiac failure for all of them developed within about sort of 2 to 3 weeks after them having their first vaccine. So they went from functioning well human beings to human beings who now, they can't walk around the block without getting short of breath.